You gotta listen to this guy. Join us at Bloody Mavericks, where sanity takes a back seat. Episode number 3 is live. Ryan Sheppard, co-founder of Dark Matter. Yeah, you heard me right. Dark Matter. You will learn how to expand your horizons to travel, food connection, to ancestry, how to thrive in a community, and hidden mental struggles, and much, much more. And now, I welcome you to Bloody Mavericks. To welcome you with is two things. One is Faite Tinamar Atatu. That's supposed to be Scottish, but how far from it is it? Hard to say. So I know you told me that you have a Scottish, Irish, US, so American and Canadian.
And apparently some German as well.
Oh, German as well.
I just
That's
learned
great.
about today. Yeah.
Okay.
Asking my parents, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's a nice mix.
Yep. Yeah.
100%. So, as I told you earlier, it's pretty tricky to get Scottish or Irish food, especially in Toronto. It's really hard. So I thought I'm gonna go to basics. And what we have here is a shepherd's pie. This is no play with your name.
I love it. Yeah.
And the chicken pot pie.
Amazing.
One of two things that like all the meat pies that for me myself when I was checking that and when I'm thinking about the meat pies, it's everything is coming from north of Great Britain, right? So,
Yeah, I didn't even honestly realize that meat pies were Scottish or Irish. So.
I think the shepherd's pie itself is from Edinburgh.
Really?
So that's how the mix came around, and there was a French version which is different than this. It's also called in French shepherd's pie, but has nothing to do with this almost. And on the Irish side, so we've got the big thing, the Guinness that everybody knows.
Yep.
And so let's dig in. Let's start here.
Sure.
Let me get the beer running.
Guinness going.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm honestly not a big dark beer kind of guy, but in the spirit of this, just for you, yeah.
Okay. So just a tasting.
Yeah. It's very strong for me personally.
Yeah, what kind of?
I like basic beers, like just my basic lagers and some IPAs and stuff I can get into, but Guinness is pretty. Sure, why not? Yeah, I'll go for it.
That's why I wasn't bringing the whole
case of it.
The whole case of it because of that that particular reason. But
do you like it?
I like dark beers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
For medical reasons, I cannot drink a lot of alcohol, so I'm basically it's for tasting and feeling it and going about that. But let's begin. Try it. Maybe. Maybe let's try it with Irish. Cheers.
Yeah. It's better than I remember.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
When was the last time you had it?
Probably like 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh really?
Yeah. So
it's
been a while.
Until recently, that was for me similar time frame.
Yeah.
Please dig in. Try whatever you like.
Yeah.
So we've got. Go ahead.
I do love shepherd's pie.
Oh, you do?
I love shepherd's
Cool.
pie. So much.
It was a. So I see this was a good guess.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's honestly one of my favorites. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool.
I always used to have it. My mom always used to make it growing up, so I always had shepherd's pie around.
So how is it?
It's good. It's very good, actually.
So is it something that you would do like in your family home, that you guys would have like pies in general?
Yeah, I always used to eat meat pies growing up, but We didn't do that many homemade meat pies, honestly, but homemade shepherd's pie all the time.
All right.
Like all the time.
It seems so easy, but it's also really good.
Yeah.
It's
really, really good, yeah. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that background. What part is coming from where? Who is the...
Yeah, so I believe my mom's side is Irish, and I believe my dad's side is Scottish and German, which I wasn't aware of until today. I didn't know that I had any German blood until today, to be honest.
That's
but
nice.
it shows that I need to do more research into this sort of thing. But yeah, yeah. So that's kind of where we're at, and then my dad's side of the family came over straight to the United States, and then eventually moved into Canada.
Okay.
The exact timelines and stuff I'm not 100% sure on, but
was it like grandparents or
great grandparents?
Great grandparents. Okay.
Yeah. So it's been.
And on the Canadian side?
Canadian side, I believe my mom's family came straight to Canada from. I think she texted me about it earlier. Came straight to Canada from Ireland, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she came as well as a child?
Oh,
you think?
No.
It was
a couple generations back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's this sort of stuff is so easily lost, like through the generations. I feel like people forget or don't pay enough attention to it, and then like it's clear like that I need to do more research and remember these facts to pass down to my kids someday, because I don't even know enough right now. But yeah, it's kind of where I'm at.
I believe it's coming also with some. I wouldn't say it's a curiosity for me. It also started at certain age. I wasn't really passionate about it till certain point. For me, the big one was kind of acknowledging what is my real background and all the pieces of it. And then I decided, oh shoot, I need to start thinking about it, going
what is
deeper.
Your cultural identity sort of thing.
That's right, 100%. So on that note, anything that you have in front of you, tasting, trying, anything resembles what you already had before?
Oh yeah, the shepherd's pie brings back memories, obviously.
Okay, cool.
For sure.
Is there anything from, like, when you are thinking about your background and the Scottish, the Irish, obviously German, we'll leave that aside for now. That's the still discovery point. But is there anything in specific that, for instance, if I would ask you, what would you show me, Irish or Scottish, what first thing comes to mind?
Honestly, I don't know. This is what I feel bad about, being so disconnected from my cultural past. It's is I don't have like a deep rooted like connection to my cultural past like I maybe should. But I guess with the Irish is obviously potato, so like shepherd's pie and stuff is like probably the go-to sort of thing on that front. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else.
That's why I don't feel really guilty for not knowing much. Because it's like hard to dig in, right? It's pretty simple, especially on the food side. It's a pretty simple. It's like to the motto, less is more, basically. But at the end of the day, is I love it. It's delicious, and any type of pie. So
I love meat pies as well. Yeah, very good. Awesome. So, like, is there something that you feel that you're gonna go deeper into at some point, and like
try to, I don't know, go back home to Ireland, to Scotland, and
I've actually never been to Ireland or Scotland. It's crazy that I've never been. But yeah, I think after this I'm going to have to dig in and learn some more. Because there has been, I know a lot of people in my family have done a lot of digging and research into our background, and I'm just not caught up on all the information, but I probably should be, because it's all available to me. All the knowledge is there. I just need to learn more about it. But,
you know, we get caught in minutia of daily life or in daily business. You yourself know it pretty well. You are running from one country to another, traveling. You came back today from one plane, correct?
Yesterday. Yesterday I was back from Chicago. Yeah,
that's right. Then a couple days you are going for the next one.
Yep, couple days I'm going back to LA, and then to Phoenix, Arizona a couple days after that. So
yeah, so there are a lot of things that come into, like, you wanna try to dig in and you wanna try to explore a little bit more, but there will always gonna be something, right, that comes in. But it's awesome to see that you definitely have the access and you can go at it and go deeper in it. Like, if you would have a chance to go somewhere tomorrow, where would that be first? Like, besides obviously the business world.
Probably Japan.
Okay.
I love visiting Japan. It's like somewhere that's so far that like it's hard to find enough time to go there to visit, but it's definitely my favorite. I think it's one of the coolest countries in the world. It's like so culturally different than anything we're used to here.
That's right. 100%. Like, how many times you've been there?
Just once. Okay. But I've been dying to. I went right before the pandemic, and I've been dying to go back ever since. But yeah, there or probably second choice would be the Netherlands. I'd probably go to Amsterdam or somewhere like that. Okay. It's also a very beautiful country.
It is. Both of those are pretty amazing. I love Japan. Yeah. Japan, 100%. I want to go back. It's so like from a different planet.
Yeah,
kind of.
Exactly.
And
it's like you're on Mars.
It is. Yeah. From one hand, you've got Mount Fuji on the like middle of the island, and I remember us stopping by in Numazu, like a smaller city just by the Fuji mountain, and we started our trip there, me and wife. And you go on the beach, you sit down, and you see those like volcanic rocks, just full beach, not full of marbles. It's full of volcanic rock, just surrounded by the ocean, and you feel that calmness, like this is an ancient place.
Yeah, seriously. I know I had a similar experience to that in Hawaii when we were in Maui and we went up to the top of the volcano there. It was a dormant volcano, but like it's crazy. Like it's extremely ancient. It's like wild to be a part of that and like experience it. But yeah.
That's right. One thing is the nature that you feel that kind of grounding part to it, but another thing about Japan is like Tokyo is a city from future.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy. Tokyo is one of the coolest. I think it's the coolest city on earth, honestly. But
why is that?
I think that like you said, it's the city of the future, but everything is so organized, everything's so systemized, everything's so clean. Like everything is extremely clean, but also like the culture shock of like, you know, not drinking while you're walking down the street and stuff like that, or eating while you're walking down the street, or like everything's kind of like very, very systemized. But yeah,
it is. And like besides that, like you've got the system to all of it, like from their own culture that's systematized, like everything is scheduled how it should be. But on the note of systems, you've got the best transportation system in the world as well. Like when I saw the subway stopping on the yellow line in between two lines, and he just it touches the thing, and they being so responsive and being like, I remember us being late for a minute. The guy was, I think, sending the apology for 3 times during the ride.
Yeah, the schedules and stuff are so accurate there as well. Like everything's on time. Like you said, if you're late by a minute, it's a big deal. It's not something to be
compared to
taken lightly.
TTC, huh?
Yeah. It's definitely an entirely different world in terms of the transit. Like in Tokyo, I can't see why anyone has a car, honestly. But yeah, definitely a transit-based city.
And still, if they have a car, those cars are so tiny because of the spaces, right?
Yep.
And cool. So 2 Netherlands and Japan.
Yep.
Okay.
I was actually this morning I had lunch with my friend from the Netherlands that's in Toronto working on a show. So yeah, that reminded me of that one. But yes.
And you have visited Netherlands before as well?
Yep. Yeah, I've spent plenty of time working in the Netherlands and visiting there. Yeah.
Awesome. So what's the best thing about Netherlands?
Probably the food. I really like Dutch food.
Okay.
Croquettes. There's this other thing called kapsalon, which is like the Dutch equivalent of poutine. It's kind of like their late night food.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a cross between shawarma and poutine.
All right.
It's like shredded shawarma meat and cheese and stuff. It's kind of their like late night go-to food after the
At least you're getting some protein with your poutine, right?
Yeah. No, it's amazing though. But that's kind of their cultural equivalent to poutine over there. But it's really good. And yeah.
Let's dive into. We got some introduction into your culture, into your background, and even where your interest lies on next travels outside of work.
Yeah.
Whatever that will be in futuristic times.
Yeah. Sometime
for sure.
Yeah.
But Ryan, so you are the co-owner and operator of Dark Matter.
Yeah, 1/3 owner.
1/3 owner.
Yeah.
Okay, who's the third one?
We have Sean, me, and Adam.
Okay, because I knew about you and Adam.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yep.
All right. So 3 of you guys, and you guys are doing some dark business. That's for sure. Like going at your website and checking it out. Yeah. That's a nice one. So everybody who's watching is supposed to check their website. It's darkmatter.ca.
Yeah, we got nothing on there.
And you basically have a logo which is just glowing out there.
Yeah.
If you dig in a little bit deeper and go into LinkedIn, you're gonna understand a little bit what those guys are doing.
A little bit, yeah.
Why is that?
Honestly, we're just too busy. We have more work than we can currently even remotely handle. So it's not a huge drive for us to like really advertise our services very much. But yeah, it's also like it's a very tight-knit industry. We don't like to advertise what we're working on at all times, kind of thing. And a lot of the stuff that we work on, we're very NDA'd against as well. We can't really talk about just anything, so it's something we have to be cautious of as well.
Okay, Ryan, what are you guys doing for people to understand what's the business, what you guys up to, who you work with?
So we work primarily on systems for video playback at concerts or live events, corporate events, film and television. So we work with clients to develop systems for control and playback of video, as well as designing what are called notch effects, which are real-time generative camera effects.
Okay.
So where we can like
how those look like?
It's like we could kind of like you could take someone like a regular camera feed of someone and make it look like they're on fire or they're smoking or glowing or like doing different stuff, so we can take normal cameras at concerts and make them look more integrated into the content. Okay. Kind of make things look more cohesive. And then we work with our suppliers to develop systems that integrate all that into one package and play that back.
Okay, so in lame terms, basically you guys are doing all the visual effects behind the concert, so everything that is outside or into the concert area with people who are on the stage.
Yeah. So like anything that's like on the big LED walls that you see on those concerts, like we're playing that back.
Yeah.
And we work with a lot of our clients are production design companies that will go and have the content made with their animators and stuff, and they bring us those files and we integrate everything into a cohesive system so it can be reliably played back. But yeah.
So you guys are basically all the time behind the scenes playing it back and making sure everything is properly run.
Seamless and on beat. We use what's called time code to synchronize all the different departments together. So make sure everything's locked in. And yeah. So
is it kind of working in conjunction with audio? You said video, obviously, but are you getting separate feeds from other departments directly to your system, and then based on that you navigate? Yeah,
kind of. So there's there'll be a playback position who's playing back the tracks for the band or click tracks or whatever it may be. And when they play that back, they'll also play out what's called time code, and they'll send that to us on an audio line. It just sounds like it's just like a binary code. It just sounds like screaming if you plug it into a speaker. But our systems will take that and spit it out as a timestamp. So like, say the song starts on the 2-hour mark. Then we know in our system to put on that song a 2-hour start tag, and when we receive that time code, we'll play that track in sync with the playback. And lighting will also receive that same stamp. So the whole thing gets played back seamlessly. So it sounds so freaking complicated that you are getting so much information real time that you need to navigate through and then push it out to people to see. Yeah, we'll also receive data from like automation. So if screens at a concert are moving on automation motors, those have encoders that'll spit out data, and we'll take that into our system so we can also move the screens in 3D space and map content onto them. Or we might also be receiving DMX from the lighting so they can control different stuff inside of our system in real time, and then receiving camera feeds. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening in real time for sure. But, yeah. I saw recently on your Instagram as well that you guys were doing some crazy animations as well. Like in front of the stage, there was a curtain, transparent curtain of some sort. Yeah. So one of our clients was doing a show for SZA on SNL, and they had a hollow gauze that we were projecting onto, and they made all this beautiful particle content that we projected, and we just dealt with the mapping of that. But yeah, they do a really good job of. Am I right? Was it kind of 3D dimensional, so off a stage and different, and you could project it to different depths as well? No, not really. That was really just as simple as there's just like a really thin sheet that you can't really see if it's lit properly, and we're just projecting onto that sheet. And then there was also an LED wall behind them that we could also project on, so that might be where you thought there might be some depth stuff, but really it's more of just a perspective trick than anything. More of a trick, but yeah, at the end of the day, if the trick works, things are simpler than you might think. But it's actually pretty cool and pretty neat to see the projects that you guys are working on. And can you share a little secret, some of the clients that you have been working on just recently or in the past, the big ones, the small ones, whoever, or the most the biggest fun that you had? We just finished working on the SZA tour that's going out now. They're playing in Toronto tonight, actually. Oh, cool. So yeah, that tour is out now, and then we're working on Kanye West stadium shows. Not exactly the, bit of a dodgy topic now with him, but yeah, those were super cool. We did a bunch of work on Coachella last year with The Weeknd and Swedish House Mafia. And yeah, kind of I've done a bunch of work with Martin Garrix, the DJ in the Netherlands. Yeah, that's sort of the stuff that comes to mind right away.
All the big guys and the big concerts and
Billie Eilish and stuff like that. Yeah, been busy. Yeah.
And if I'm correct, you've been on the Veld as well.
Oh yeah, years ago. Yeah, years and years ago. But yeah.
Cool. One or two things from the culture or from heritage on your family side that you think that you guys only do, and then you embrace yourself, that made you, like, you cultivate it still and still keep it in your life.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the food is probably the biggest thing. I realized recently with my girlfriend Danielle there, she like comes from a very traditional Italian background, and like for Christmas dinner, for instance, it's like a very different world. So yeah, I think food is the biggest thing that like continues like throughout my life to tie me back to my heritage. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't really think about it until recently, honestly, that like, you know, not everyone eats turkey dinner for Christmas. It's can be a very different thing, like on the Italian side or whatnot.
That's true.
Which I think leads to like a fairly different cultural experience. But yeah, it's probably that.
I definitely agree. Like if you look at friends or where they are coming from, what are their roots, and like they're gonna do things a little bit different than we are, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that builds who we are, and I'm happy that inviting you here kind of strike that thought about, maybe I will go deeper.
Should know more. Yeah, cool. Definitely.
I'm happy about that. So let's on the cultural journey, is there anything specific that you would like to learn about those cultures? And if so, where would you start?
Yeah. I don't know what I'd like to learn, honestly. I guess just more about the history of these places. I'd like to know a lot more about the history. I'd like to know a lot more about the food and where my family came from, how they grew up, etc. Stuff like that.
Yeah, like some of those stories, especially from the grandparents and their lifetime stories, and how some of your great grandparents came to US and then to Canada as well, is like those stories are crazy.
Very interesting. Yeah. I wish I knew more of those.
It's like with the time being, it's good to capture them until the older generations are still alive, but at the same time you can still dig into it and try to put the puzzles together, right?
For sure, yeah, definitely.
So Ryan, on the side of the Maverick, how are you different? If you ask yourself, how am I different? If you compare yourself to, like, it's not about making yourself better than anyone else. It's more like I'm looking at other people and I'm like, I'm so different in this area. What would that be?
I am a really hard worker, and I'm really, really driven with what I do and what I'm passionate about. And I feel like I don't see that in everybody, but I'm not sure what makes me different.
Like that one thing is a huge one.
Yeah.
But it is also a big part of being your own boss, the entrepreneur. Yeah. And
the entrepreneurial spirit is definitely not something that you see in everybody, but I think that it's really important to embrace.
So how did you go about and figuring out that you want to do things on your own?
Well, I've never had a normal job. I've always kind of done this. I've always been freelance or working for myself. So I think just growing up, I've kind of like forced myself into that habit. But also my dad was an entrepreneur. He had his own business. And so I think part of that made me want to strive to kind of have that same sort of sense of freedom for myself. And also just, it's really enjoyable, like building something from scratch. And it means a lot more.
It's like a kid almost, right? You
Yeah.
look at grow, you go through the struggles, the
Yep.
pains,
Yep.
falling down on your knees and getting up again.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. It's a hard but rewarding process.
I definitely agree. And what was the point where you decided, like, or you figure out that you're not gonna do it by yourself on
Yep.
your own and you need some partners?
Yeah. I mean, I've always known from the get-go that I wouldn't be able to do it by myself. I think that it's really important to have a team of people to that want to achieve those same goals together, because like I've seen a lot of people that try to do things just themselves and they get stuck, and you're a lot more limited on what you can do in terms
Definitely.
of working just on your own. It's a lot easier to have other people that are in it to win it with you. But yeah.
That's 100%. But at the same token, it's like, because there are two schools that I know of, at least, on getting the business partners.
Yeah.
Either you invite your friends to come and join you and do something together,
Yep.
and you can lose them all, like I did with my first business,
Right.
trying to give jobs to all of my friends and
Yeah.
all sorts of those relationships pass. But or you're gonna go and build the business relationship first, find the partner first, and
Yeah.
then build a friendship on top of that.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a good question. Like us three were met through work, so we all knew that we were friends and worked together as well. So we all knew that we had the same sort of goals and strategies and interests in mind, and we all had the industry experience, so it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, the drive was kind of similar. You guys been working together, so yeah, you basically started on the second note, like being in the industry, being like colleagues from work, and then doing business together, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's, from my own perspective, it is a healthier way to go about it.
Yeah
Definitely.
Yeah, it can be tricky building a business just with your friends, for sure.
Yeah.
So it can be challenging.
As at the end of the day, it is like in marriage, if you or any relationship, you need to talk about money.
Yep.
And in business, you talk about money all the time.
That's all you talk about. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like if someone do not know how to talk and cannot disconnect himself from the money,
Yep.
it becomes personal and it gets harder.
Yeah. I think everyone just has to have the big picture in mind, and we put everything into growth, so we're constantly thinking about the big picture and moving the business forward, and not getting held up on the little things necessarily.
So who's doing what in business?
Yeah. So we all work, right? We all work and we all do shows. Sean handles most of our operations management and accounting side of things, anything to do with like general operations, and he's also going out and working on shows as well. And then Adam and I primarily do the D3 programming side of things and the Notch programming side of things. And Sean does more of the systems engineering and large format, like Barco E2 kind of switching side of things. But yeah, we all like work on shows, and we also all try to contribute in terms of like prepping shows, client management, like sales. So it's kind of like all hands on deck at all times, honestly. But yeah, we're getting to the point where we need to start thinking about hiring some extra people. But
that was about my next question. How is the vision looking for a future for you guys? Because you are saying every time we talk, you are saying, I've got more and more work. Like, come on, can't handle it.
Yeah, it's getting out of hand. There's a lot of work, so we're building the team slowly. We have a lot of contractors that we work with really closely that have like come in and really helped ease the burden of a lot of these shows. So that's been great, and looking to hopefully start hiring some people within the next year, and then possibly also we'd love to set up operations in the US as well, so that would be good. That's
a big plans.
Yeah, you gotta have plans.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. So let's dive a little bit into the open-ended kind of questions.
Sure.
And when we're on the same note, if I would ask you, where are you now? What would you say?
Where am I now? I am stressed.
Why is that?
I'm just, it's hard to take on so many projects and at the same time also help manage a company. But it's at a point in my life where I definitely need to start leaning on the help of other people.
Okay.
That's my biggest thing right now. That's I think where I'm at. So I can hopefully start focusing on my own personal life outside of work as well, instead of being away constantly all the time.
I get you. So so you need kind of a balance. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I definitely need to start working on the work-life balance thing. But for now, unfortunately, I'm just not in that situation yet. But working towards
you love your work, so that's what it is, right?
Yeah, I'm still extremely passionate about it. I still love it and want to keep doing it. So
I kind of ask you the next one, but let's dive a little bit deeper.
Sure.
Where do you want to go?
That's also a challenging question, obviously. I would like to continue slowly growing at a similar pace that we are now. We don't really have any major ambitions to become a massive corporation. We'd like to stay fairly small and just focus on the niche market that we've kind of created. We've like really focused on creating a new market that didn't necessarily exist before. Especially because we have a lot of friends and stuff that work in Toronto that have other companies that kind of like had the market figured out here.
It's kind of intertwined this way.
Yeah, like we have a lot of partners that we work really closely with, and we didn't want to like take anyone's clients when we started out, so we kind of worked on carving out a new client base, which is mostly in the US now. But it's but we'd like to continue on this trajectory and slowly building new relationships with people. And
are you thinking to stay primarily on US side, or are you thinking going Canadian and further out even?
Yeah, there's honestly, I would say that like 95% of our business is US based. US or internationally based. There's only maybe 5% that's Canadian based. Very, very, very small percentage of it's Canadian.
What do you think is the reason for that?
There's just no real market for concert touring in Canada, unfortunately, or no serious market, at least, that's like sustainable for a company like ours. It's a lot of lower budget music touring productions and stuff in Canada. There's a decent amount of corporate stuff that we've also worked on as well, but definitely
what kind of corporate though?
Like big annual partner conferences and stuff like that. Will be subcontracted by much larger companies like Soul Tech or someone to come out and help facilitate really complex setups.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to dig into that market a little bit more, or just give it like a small percentage, keep it on that level?
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to do more of that stuff. But again, the music industry stuff is really what we're focused on currently.
That's your niche.
That's our niche.
That's what you decided
what
on.
works. Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So, knowing where you are at right now, where you want to go, what's the answer for how you're going to get there?
That's also a good question. Our current plan is to just continue what we've been doing. We have a lot of slow but steady growth through word of mouth and just continuing delivering good quality of products or projects. Yeah, we really pride ourselves in just like knowing that we're going to come in and do a really good job for our clients and not fuck up their shows. That's the biggest thing, right? Is knowing that we're going to come in and deliver and like work our asses off and work really hard to like get projects across the finish line, and also, you know, keep an eye on making sure that our clients' creative vision is executed correctly. And yeah, pretty much the only way for us to grow is to just continue that process. And
like, I don't feel that you are saying that keeping the quality and basically delivering the level of service is important to you. But what I'm hearing is like, first of all, you are passionate about it. So you take pride in what you do. So I'm not really like, I feel that you're going to do everything in your power and everyone that you know power to make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that people see that, and most of our growth is natural, right? Like we meet people on projects that we're working on and then branch off and go do another project with these people or with these people that we meet along the way, kind of thing. So it's a very small community too. Like everyone in our space like knows each other, and most of our clients know each other. So it's, you know, once you're in there at a certain level, you kind of just, everyone knows everyone. And
that's right.
Yeah.
You guys are moving from one set to another, from one production house to another, and just continuing on the path.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Anything else where that you are planning to get there in specific?
Just hopefully setting up some sort of US office, because we're constantly shipping gear back and forth between Canada and the US, and it's just a headache and difficult and expensive.
Yeah, of course.
So it's definitely something that we'd like to do, to have more US based gear to more easily serve 95% of our client base.
Yeah.
So that would be a big help to us.
Any one of you thinking about moving over there because of that?
Not yet, but we have a lot of people that work with us that are US based and would definitely help us with that process.
That's awesome. That's amazing. As your own boss, as an entrepreneur, as a professional, striving to get where you want to get, definitely you need to set yourself some kind of goals.
Yep.
How you go about choosing, setting up, and executing your goals?
I think just really hard work. Like, once we have a goal in mind, we just know that we have to really hustle and lock down and push hard to make it to that goal.
Do you have like a structure in mind that you like, okay, we want to double our growth or revenue in next year?
Yeah.
How would you go about that? As an example.
Yeah. Well, if we wanted to double our revenue, we would probably just go for investment and double the amount of gear we have. Because like we have enough projects that we can, most of our revenue comes from gear rental. So by doubling the amount of gear we have, we can almost certainly double the amount of revenue we have, but we're doubling year to year anyways. So it's something that we should think more about, honestly. But we're so busy, and just like, we can only grow so fast.
Of course.
So
yeah.
we're kind of just at a point now where we can't grow any faster. So yeah.
All right. So when you, let's say you're gonna have your goals achieved, first place besides though, like, would it, or first place that you will go on your free time? Let's say you finish the projects and you've got a couple weeks for yourself. Where would you go? Is it one of those countries that you mentioned before, or somewhere else?
Maybe. But if I'm looking for like just time to relax, I really like to go to Mexico.
Okay.
I went a couple times last year. It's a close and easy vacation if I'm just looking to like sit on a beach and breathe.
Yeah.
I feel like going to Japan is a bit more of a intense, structured, almost like not working vacation, but you know what I mean. It's a lot more effort than to just...
A lot's going on, right?
Yeah, I feel like if I, had a really good year and I just want to hang out and chill, I'd probably just go to Mexico or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any specific place that you are going?
Yeah, me and my girlfriend have a resort that we really like to go to just outside of Playa del Carmen.
Okay.
It's really nice, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you a community person?
Like involved in my community?
Or some sort of community in general?
I'm not involved in my community that I live in, really, no, but I'm also never there. I'm gone like 80% of the time.
Of course, yeah.
But I'm pretty involved in my work community, and involved in the community and people that are like working on similar stuff and like helping each other out.
So would you say that you build, or you have around yourself kind of a tribe that you can relate to?
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a big community of us that kind of do a similar job, that we can always chat to each other and talk about stuff.
Okay. Was there at any point in time on your entrepreneurial journey or your professional journey a moment that you were seeking a mentor, for instance?
Yeah, I guess like when I was in university, I guess my kind of mentor who was helping me with my thesis project was my friend Jason Riordan, who helped me learn a lot and develop a lot of skills. But also my dad is a video guy as well, who's been in the industry for many years and was a huge mentor to me my whole life.
That's awesome.
And definitely gave me a head start on that front.
Are you guys still working together from time to time? Or?
We haven't worked together in years, but a few years ago we worked on the same show and it was pretty fun. Yeah, it's funny to see the generations work together.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's probably a cool experience to see that, like, your father, you have been working a completely different type of shows. Yeah. Like those shows years back were different than what you are doing. Yeah. Like probably just looking at the shows that you done 5-10 years ago. Yeah. Compared to what you done yesterday and a couple months back, it's a completely different thing, right? Yeah. Lots of corporate, like 5-6 years ago, and before I started to work mainly in the music industry. But it's on technological side, a lot of changes. No, the tech side is like fairly similar. But if you start to go back like 10 years ago, it changes quite a bit. But the last 5-6 years have been fairly consistent. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So let's jump into more open, like small open questions. I'm gonna little bit for warm up. Yep. Who's your ideal client?
My ideal client. I really like artists that I can, talk to like a normal person. It's definitely good to have a solid line of communication with your client and people that you can be honest with, and people you have mutual respect for and trust for is kind of the ideal client for sure.
Okay, cool. So basically you're not looking for some posh and spoiled big twinkly stars.
No, it's it can be, it's definitely more rewarding to work with your friends and people that you respect. And it's worth it to not abuse yourself and like put yourself in bad situations where you're like, oh, the money might be really good, but maybe you're gonna have a terrible time.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna give up most of your life to do this and be away from home so much, then it's definitely worth it to enjoy it while you can.
Oh yeah. What do you do for fun?
For fun? Oof. That's a good question. Honestly, if I'm not working, I'm just hanging out with my girlfriend, going on vacation. I try to focus on hanging with her as much as I can whenever I'm not working. And that's pretty much it, honestly.
And you also support her and her project at the same time, so you guys are kind of spending time together working anyway.
Yeah. So when I'm not working, I'm helping her work, and I try to help her as much as I can.
Yeah, for sure.
Navigate this whole sort of more technical side of the space, but yeah.
What's your biggest problem?
Biggest problem? People. Lack of people. Need more people that like are trained and know how to do this specific job. There's a massive labor shortage in the live entertainment industry right now. Huge labor shortage. It's pretty out of control. Yeah. There's a lot of like shows and tours that can't happen because they can't find people.
Wow.
So
bad, huh?
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, it is. Okay. So this one might be tough. Canada is not for maverick rebels, trailblazers. Change my mind.
I think that there's a lot of opportunity in Canada still. I think that like it can feel like you get locked into working in like sort of the same community, and like things feel like they repeat over and over and over again. But honestly, I think that in Canada there's still a lot of room for growth, and you just have to meet opportunity with the right skills and level of commitment at the right time. It's partially luck, but you have to, there is opportunity out there. You just have to wait for it and be ready for it when it does happen, to take that up, to seize the opportunity and to excel.
So it seems like you are a person who always believed that there is more room to grow and there is always an opportunity. You just need to
you need to seize it, or be open to it, be ready to embrace it when it does manifest.
Up on your doorstep, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What are, like, from the business life or from personal life, is there any like financial lessons that you would like to know earlier?
Financial lessons, lots.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Like what? I mean, accounting, taxes, what am I...
Lawyers are expensive.
Oh, yeah.
That's one thing to remember. I think this kind of impacts the financial side of things, but it's important to have contracts and like keep things legit on paper. because it's always sunshine and rainbows, like, until it's not. So it's good to have written agreements in place where everyone understands, so that if something was to ever happen, then you're covered. I think that's really important to have. And then, I think financial, like, we've done everything up to this point on just natural growth, and just taking everything and reinvesting it into the business. So, we're slowly starting to look at the idea of what would happen if we did borrow money to grow faster and take on debt and whatever. So I think it's important to look at your business from all angles, and if cash flow makes sense, then like debt isn't always necessarily a bad thing.
That's right. At the end of the day, is a tool, right? So.
Yeah, it's a tool for sure. I think I'm more of the like creative sort of
a vision person,
I guess, and I'm more like crazy and let's do this and let's do that and let's do that. It's important to have the people. Like, this is another good thing that's important about having multiple people involved in your business, is you need people to like rein you in but like still let you try to go out and like push crazy ideas and like take risks. But yeah, I think taking risks is another important thing. Taking risks within reason.
You need that reasonable part to it as well, right?
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of people that just won't take any risk, and if you don't take risk, then it's hard to grow. It's kind of like we've built everything on the build it and they will come kind of mentality. It's like we did a small initial investment between the three of us initially to get some gear, and then without any gigs booked. But the gig, like, if you build it, they will come kind of thing. If you have, a good product and you're good people will want to do business with you and grow with you as well, and helping your clients also grow, because at the end of the day, everyone's trying to grow. So
that's right.
If we can help our clients grow and they can help us grow, then it's a mutually beneficial thing.
Totally agree. On the easier note, either 3 books that everyone should read in your opinion, or the book that you read recently that made an impact.
I only read user manuals.
Okay.
No, I honestly haven't read a book in many years, which I probably should. I just honestly don't have time. I think that books are amazing, and I should definitely do some more reading.
I'm a person who is a listener more because I'm driving a lot. So for me, I go Audible and just plug it in and go.
That's a great idea. I should start doing that on airplanes. I spend enough time on planes that I could probably read many books.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's a good idea. I should do that.
Cool. If you would have a tribe that is coming up to you, or people in like community outside of your work that comes around, what would be something what would need to be something in it for you to kind of wanting to go outside of your regular way of life, regular doing business, to join and grow in that direction as well?
That's tough. Yeah.
With such a passionate person like yourself about
tricky.
Your work, it's a tricky one.
I think if it was something that I don't know. That's a tricky one. Yeah, it's hard when I work so much that I don't even know what would pull me out of it, honestly. Yeah, probably. I think my girlfriend's slowly pulling me out of it, but yeah, it's probably something that would allow me to travel more and just relax and not be as stressed all the time. But yeah, I don't really know how to answer that, honestly.
That's fine. No worries. It's good. That will be a tricky one.
Yeah.
What is the question that you would like to be asked more often?
I think I would like to be asked. More about my personal life, I guess, rather than just my work life. I think that, or talk to people more about like how people are doing mental health wise.
Okay.
Because I feel like everyone in my industry struggles in their own ways with mental health, and not being home or being super stressed out all the time, like work in a very high stress environment. And I think that I'd like it if people talked more about like, how are you actually doing, kind of thing.
So instead of asking how are you doing as just a pit stop on the way to ask another question, really going deep and trying to figure out what's behind it and how have you been.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. Yeah, that's important, and it's very often ignored.
So from on that note, is there anything that you feel that you would like to work on, like for yourself? You said stress levels and
yeah I'd like to focus more on just being around more, having more of a personal life, I think, than what I'm doing with work right now, because it's probably not sustainable.
Is it like the disconnection part? Are you like, because of the distance and the amount of time you're out?
Yeah. It's I think just being away so much is really hard, and like even I'm just working. Like I'm not doing anything else. So it's like when someone's like, "Oh, what do you do for fun, or what do you do in your personal time?" I'm like, work more. But to me that is fun. Like to me, like building a business and like working on my business is like what I enjoy doing. Like it's what I've always done. It's my passion. So it's kind of is what I do for fun. But yeah, I think that's what everyone wants out of their job, though, isn't it? Or at least a lot of people would want to strive to feel the same way about their career, their job. And I guess I feel lucky. It's a blessing and a curse. Like I feel lucky to feel that way. Very, very strongly feel that way, but also feel like it's very stressful and like definitely takes a toll on your personal life, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like interpersonal connections and relationships and stuff can be challenging. But yeah, it's hard when that's what you do love to do. So yeah.
Isn't that, like, from my own perspective and having my own businesses before, they are saying you are lonely on the top, but I would say you are lonely majority of the time. Even you are building it, you might be on the bottom still. You're gonna be lonely because you're gonna be grinding way harder than anyone that you know, and you're gonna have that vision where you want to follow, so you're gonna say no to a lot of things.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, it's a lonely journey to the top, I guess.
Do you feel like just touching base with more people who are as driven as yourself would be a solution, or would you rather have like regular people who are more grounded and have that kind of yin and yang and balance between work and...
I think it's important to hear it from both spaces. Like my girlfriend Danielle is like trying to take a step back from working that insane crazy lifestyle, because she's been there and done that, and I'm still there doing that. So I'm trying to take some advice from her and take a breather once in a while. But yeah, it's challenging. I think that it's important to hear it from people who are going through the same thing, or who have been through the same thing. But yeah, I think it can be hard for people that might not understand what it's like to work that much and be so passionate about what you do, and like, so it's important to hear from like-minded people for sure.
That's the one thing that I actually invited you here for, because you are a maverick and I feel it all through and through, and it's you're basically a definition of one, and yeah, I understand, and that's why I'm asking all those questions, to kind of help people like ourselves, us, like trying to figure out on the journey. So my next one would be, what would you advise Maverick struggling, being on that journey without the support, or trying to build a network or a tribe around them, people, like-minded people, so they stay freaking sane, right?
Yeah, it can be tough, but I think people just have to keep doing what they love. I'm like a very strong believer in that. If you do what you love, you will find success in doing it, for sure. Like, it will happen for you. You just have to keep pushing and digging, and you'll find success in doing that. Whatever it is you love to do, it could be anything. But if you're passionate enough about it and willing to really, really push and like work hard at something, you'll find success in it for sure. And
how would you go about finding those like-minded people, so at least you get some support on that lonely journey to the top, right?
Yeah, it can be tough for sure. It's hard to find like-minded people like that, honestly, but you meet them along the way. I think that meeting people in your field and like finding people that it's like with Sean and Adam, like people that are also working in the field and like know how the industry works, and people that you can relate to, and kind of building those natural connections with people that also understand the like struggle of being away all the time and stuff like that.
For sure. Are any of your partners a little bit more kind of balanced, or all of you are so passionate and just grind?
We're all working super hard at all times. Yeah. We all work too much, but we're still pushing. So we'll see if we can slow down in the next couple of years. But yeah.
The question is if you really need to slow down, or do you really need to just add the structure to your business so you can take the load off your back and put it on someone else, right?
Yeah. It's definitely something we're looking at. But a lot of it comes down to like personal relationships with clients and stuff. Like, we can't just send a random person out on a job where they don't know the client. So it's kind of because you have to work so closely with people, right? Like, it's a very intense, high stress job, and it works much better if you know who you're working with, and because people will still reach out and want specific people, and it's like, okay, well, they're not available, so what do you do? We can't just send a random person. So we're trying to build that network of really strong, talented programmers that have clients of their own as well that they bring in, so it can be very very good.
Cool.
Yeah.
So as a closing remark,
Sure.
what was the greatest day of your life?
Oof, man, I wish I thought about this one ahead of time.
Take your time.
That's tough. That's really tough. Greatest day of my life. I feel like I've been lucky to have so many amazing experiences, like so many amazing, unique experiences that it's really hard to pinpoint what that would be.
The first one that comes to mind.
The first one that comes to mind. It's not really a day, but I have a lot of really strong memories of like working closely with my dad, like really early on in my career. And there's like couple days where I know I was just like so excited to like be like on site working on stuff and like learning about the industry and stuff like that. And I have a lot of really fond memories of that sort of stuff when I was a younger kid. But in recent years, I'm trying to think of what my greatest day would be in memory. That's so hard, man. That's such a hard question.
Yeah, but if the one with the father comes first, then
yeah, that's what always comes to mind, honestly, when I think about like, if I'm trying to think of like, you know, happiest or like most prevalent memories, that's definitely one of them. Yeah, I mean, I've had so many I've been lucky to have so many great experiences, like working on artists headlining main stage Coachella, working on the VMAs, working on all sorts of stuff. But I think I've also had a lot of like really fun travel experiences with my girlfriend as well. Like there was like time recently where we took a helicopter in Hawaii and did like a rainforest tour and stuff. That was probably one of the best days of my life. It's pretty cool. But yeah, we've had a lot of fun times. So it's hard to pinpoint just one, honestly. I wish I could.
No worries. Like there's not a specific reason for not having couple, right?
Yeah.
So that's great that you have those. And with all you are going through with your business and being in a growth mode, and constantly pushing the envelope further and further and getting new clients, getting new gigs, and constantly going after, I think, as I mentioned earlier, you are one of the good maverick examples in this industry and in your